Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back. So my usual disclaimer, today's video is strictly for educational purposes. Please do not go searching out the people that I talk about in this video. Don't send them any form of hate comments, threats, or violence. This channel does not support any of that. So today's video was this palm-colored woman who had a lot to say addressing black people. Now, I couldn't really find the original of her videos because her page has probably been taken down or something. You know, like whenever they spill the crap they want to spill, people mass report them and stuff like that. So they either take their page down themselves or their page get banned or whatever. So anyway, I was able to just find clips of the videos here and there, and I'm just going to go right ahead and play her videos.
Being on time is white supremacy, because what are they always on time to do? Oppress.
So I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. But honestly, I think I'm just going to say out loud what a lot of people are thinking. You are not oppressed. I am not a racist. You have African American only universities. Can you fathom if white people tried to have whites only universities? Oh, but I forgot, right? It's only segregation if white people do it, right? That's right. Oh, and Black History Month. Can you imagine if we tried to have White History Month? See, your ancestors were oppressed. You have never known oppression the way that, like, just stop. Not all white people are racist. Not everything is white supremacy. You live in a country where you can go, whatever you want. Be successful, go to school, start your own business. You are not oppressed. And you paint white people with the exact same brush that you accuse us of painting you with. I never saw color until a select portion of the black community decided to jump up and start screaming that everything is white supremacy. I never saw color until you painted yourself with color. I've never been racist. And now apparently me showing up on time and having respect for other people's time makes me a white supremacist. You need to stop crying about all of the oppression that you're not actually experiencing. This is not what your ancestors fought for. They would be embarrassed. They would be embarrassed. This is not what they battled to end. And like it or don't, but the way that you come at white people is the exact thing you accuse us all of doing to you. But unlike you, I'm going to simply say that it is not every black person that does this. It's that select few that want a handout and can't take accountability for what you're doing, so you got to blame it on white people. Get over yourself. I want to preface this video by saying that what I'm about to say is not directed toward any of the black community that has any sort of self-respect and doesn't play the victim game. If that isn't you, this doesn't apply to you. However, let's talk about it. Because I'm white, I can't speak on the experiences of black people. Okay? Then what gives you guys the right to speak on the experiences of all white people? You guys have decided that we are all inherently racist. We were born racist. Well, how do you know? You have no idea what I've experienced in my life. What I can speak on is what I see take place right in front of me, as can you. But you know what you've never seen me do? You've never seen me be racist. What I can speak on is what I know to be true. You were never a slave. Black people were oppressed at one point in history. It isn't this point in history. And I never demanded an entire country bend to my will because my great-grandparents were slaves.
So you guys could see that she was responding to that video made by that black woman saying being on time is white supremacy. I don't even know how she came up with that logic. being on time is white supremacy. Now I know black people have black people time. Like in Africa, I'll call it African time. We're never early. We don't show up early generally. But for you to now say being on time is white supremacy, sis, really. Anyways, so you know when someone says something or does something that is a member of the black community now, and then there's one palm colored person somewhere just waiting because they already have a lot they need to say, like it's in their chest, they cannot hold it. They now use that as an opportunity to, like, you know, they just release all the rubbish they've been carrying in their chest about black people. That was what happened, because from that one thing that lady said, this palm colored woman now, you know, saw it as an opportunity to say all the things she thought about black people. So anyway, you guys know that they ate her. She was dragged with pleasure. So let me just go right ahead and play some of the responses people had for her.
If we tried to have White History Month.
So you decided to say in this video what you think a lot of people are thinking, but the people who are thinking this way are the racists. You see, racism rears its ugly little head in a lot of different ways. Just because you don't have a white sheet over your head doesn't mean you can't be racist. And diversity, equity, inclusion, those are not racist. Because you want to talk about how there are black-only universities. Well, sweetheart, where? HBCUs are not black-only. The smallest amount of Googling would have showed you that no, HBCUs are not black-only. Any student of any race and ethnicity can apply for an HBCU. In fact, over 1 in 10 of the students at HBCUs are white, and 5.1% are white or Hispanic. Black only where? And the entire reason why we have HBCUs in the first place is because white people did not want black folk to get higher educated, nor did they want to share a space with black people. HBCUs provided opportunities for black Americans to pursue formal education for nearly 2 centuries. HBCUs provide students something they cannot get anywhere else, a diverse and inclusive community of scholarship. So again, the whole reason why we even have HBCUs is because of white people being racist. So if you are angry that we have HBCUs and not angry that white people were being racist, causing us to need HBCUs, then I would think it's safe to say that you're racist. You don't have to wear a white sheet to be a racist. Now you want to try to tell black and brown and indigenous people that they are not oppressed, but I ask you to please look into sharecropping, redlining, black codes, all the things that took place after slavery was abolished, even though it wasn't, because we still have private prison systems. You see, slavery is still legal as punishment for a crime, hence the over-policing of black and brown neighborhoods. Please look up the legacy that slavery left behind and how it affects you and how it affects us. Then come back and tell us we're not oppressed.
American-only university.
My name's Mario, and I'm tired of the bullshit. I suggest you watch the entire video. Not because there's anything that you can learn from it, just because the motherfucker that the video actually is. I made a video about this before, but I will explain it to the dumb people in the back of the class who don't fucking get it by now. We don't have our own universities. We have historical black colleges and universities. These colleges and universities have a white population on average of about 25%. One in particular has a white population of over 95%. Historically black colleges and universities. Now, admission is generally given to anybody as long as you qualify, and you don't have to be black to qualify. But you know, in the fashion of white people do, white people tend to want to go to their own institutions and then bitch, moan, and cry about, well, black people got their own. Yeah, black people got their own because historically we were excluded from white universities. The same thing goes with black history. Black history was created because it wasn't being taught in schools. And right now you can see there's a backlash against history being taught from a black perspective or any perspective that is not white and male in schools. So let that be known. All right. So she addresses a few other things. She talks about the fact that she wouldn't have known race, she wouldn't have known color if it wasn't for black people speaking about race all the time. That's bullshit. White people know about color because they use color when they're choosing neighborhoods to live in, to raise their children in, and they're choosing schools in which to place their children in. This is what a lot of white people do. Studies have shown that once a neighborhood goes beyond the 10% threshold in which white people are willing to tolerate for minority inhabitants, then they move. That's just what it is. Y'all be peace.
I want to preface this video by saying that what I'm about to say is not directed toward any of the black community that has any sort of self-respect and doesn't play the victim game. If that isn't you, this doesn't apply to you.
Full stop. Stormy. This you? Yeah. Everything you're about to say after that opening is about to be some racist, bigoted bullshit. You do not get to tokenize any part of the black community or exclude them when you mention the black community in any way, shape, or form. So I know I'm about to hear some racist bullshit, and I'm about to dog walk you for it. Let's get it.
Let's talk about it. Because I'm white, I can't speak on the experiences of black people, okay? Then what gives you guys the right to speak on the experiences of all white people?
Now, Stormy, I know... Oh, excuse me. Wrong Stormy. Okay, here's the right Stormy. And Stormy Daniels, I apologize for getting you all confused. My bad. Won't happen again. Now, back to your pop-up book educated ass. It would be dangerous if you picked up a book. So you don't know the difference between people talking about their experiences in a system designed for people who look like you and talking about you. That's just you wanting to center yourself and believe that we are talking about your experiences. No, we are talking about our experiences with you. We are talking about our experiences in a system designed to benefit people like you. But of course, you must be the victim now because you want to colonize victimhood also. And you think this is the way to do it. So continue.
You guys have decided that we are all inherently racist. We were born racist. Well, how do you know? You have no idea what I've experienced in my life.
Actually, no, we haven't decided that you are all racist until those of you open your mouth that are racist and prove your racism. But what we do know is that you've never experienced racism in this country. And we know that you also benefit from white privilege. Yeah.
What I can speak on is what I see take place right in front of me, as can you. But you know what you've never seen me do? You've never seen me be racist.
What, Stormy? You must have never visited your own comment section. Because, you know what? I'm going to let Andrew Gillum tell you.
I'm simply saying the racists believe he's a racist.
What I can speak on is what I know to be true. You were never a slave. Black people were oppressed at one point in history. It isn't this point in history.
Yes, Stormy, give me a date. Give me a date when this oppression that you're talking about ended in America. Because we are still experiencing oppression and racism in the medical field. Systemic racism is still lending itself to the disparities we experience in education. Or maybe it was the day after this couple just recently settled with an appraiser in a violation of the Fair Housing Act. And I know you can't be talking about any time before January of 2023 because the DOJ just announced a recent settlement in violation of redlining laws. You think this wealth gap exists in this country because we don't work as hard as you all do? You can't make this stupid shit up. Racial disparities still exist in the healthcare industry, and we're not even 100 years from the Tuskegee experiment. Racial profiling, anyone? And not even 10 days ago, the Supreme Court just recently ruled in favor of Black Alabama votings in a Voting Rights Act violation by the entire goddamn state. So give me that date again.
I never demanded an entire country bend to my will because my great-grandparents were slaves.
Only people who look at this the way you do are those who fully embrace their white privilege associated with their colonizing piece of shit race ancestors. And only you all look at it as a problem when we ask this country to dismantle the systems of oppression that have been in place since its obsession that affects people of color and marginalized groups of people. Because you are no longer the center of that universe. Now, you have the day that you deserve.
I want to preface.
I'm stitching you in the hopes that you will listen to me and what I have to say. Coming from a fellow white woman. I don't have a horse in this race. But this video is harmful. It's harmful to the black community, and it's harmful to the white community because there are white people in your comment section egging you on. I can't speak to the black people in that comment section that are egging you on. The black community will deal with them. But here's my thing. You said that black people think all white people are racist, that they're born racist. No. Racism is taught. You're not born racist. You're taught that by your people. And what you've experienced is white privilege. I, too, have experienced white privilege. We have that leg up on the black people in this country. Generational trauma is a real thing. We experience generational trauma as humans. What happened to our ancestors imprints on their DNA, and it is passed down generation to generation to generation. So even though the people that you're talking about weren't slaves, it doesn't mean that they don't have that trauma. Because they do. They don't want you to bend to their will. They want to be treated fairly in this country, and right now they're not. Regardless of what you think, they're not being treated fairly. Educate yourself. And I'm going to leave you with this. Whether you believe it's right or wrong, be sure that what you believe you have sat down and thought about. And it's not just because of how you were raised. If that's the only reason you believe in it, then you don't believe in anything. How you can think that there is not systemic racism in this country is beyond me. You can see it out here every day. And if this is all you got to put out on the internet, just don't. Don't.
Oh, look, another white woman telling people of color that they are not oppressed.
And I'm just going to say out loud what a lot of people are thinking.
No, not a lot of people. However, a lot of white racist people.
You are not oppressed. I am not a racist.
The fuck you up?
See, your ancestors were oppressed. You have never known oppression.
I'm sorry, who made you the authority on whether or not people of color are oppressed or not? Have you ever heard of sundown towns? You know, those towns where people of color shouldn't travel through because they could get killed. They actually make a book for people of color to have so that when they travel, they make sure they don't travel through those towns. But yet, people of color aren't oppressed. Have you been following any of the political things going on in Florida? Like, for instance, all the book bans, and the majority of those books that are banned are about black history, but the ones that are being kept are about white history. But I guess that's not oppression either. Have you ever heard of a company making a black woman or a woman of color change her hair because they don't want it to look natural? But let's hear more of your brilliance.
And you paint white people with the exact same brush that you accuse us of painting you with. I never saw color until a select portion of the black community decided to jump up and start screaming that everything is white supremacy.
The first thing, what are they painting us as? The reality of what's happening to them? The reality of their oppression, which I explained earlier on in the video? And you don't see color? There's your problem. One of your problems, actually. You have many. They want you to see their color. Because when you don't see their color, you don't see the reality of what's actually happening to them and in their lives.
I never saw color until a select portion of the black community decided to jump up and start screaming that everything is white supremacy.
So you only see their color when they're doing something wrong. Do you not see the...
You need to stop crying about all of the oppression that you're not actually experiencing. This is not what your ancestors fought for. They would be embarrassed.
Girl, the only thing that's embarrassing is you right now, thinking you're some kind of authority on people of color. You have no fucking right to speak on people of color and their oppression.
Whites only universities.
You know what? I have figured it out. A lot of you white folks that have such a problem with what black people have, the superficial shit, y'all think we got this on purpose. Y'all think we all collectively got up one day and said, you know what? I ain't going to university with the whitey. We gonna make our own historically black universities. Y'all really think that? The American education system has failed y'all so badly. Y'all think we collectively got together and said, God damn it, we ain't going to school with whitey. We want to go to school with ourselves. I bet y'all think them signs from back in the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s, the ones that said colored only, y'all think we put them up there, didn't you? I ain't peeing in the bathroom with whitey. Y'all think we segregated ourselves. I ain't living in the neighborhood with whitey. I want my own black neighborhood. Oh God, I don't know whether or not to laugh or cry. That is fucked up. Y'all really think that? Y'all think we were the ones that designed that shit? Y'all out here just saying shit just to be saying it. Y'all think we made our own bathrooms, huh? Colored bathrooms. That's because apparently when we pee, there's some rhythm and blues involved, whereas when white people pee, it's just tight booty, pee on their balls, and y'all think we just... I get it now. That's why y'all are so mad at the little superficial shit. Y'all think we designed that. Like, we set out and said we wanted to be as far away from white people as possible. So we'll have our own college, we'll have our own month, we'll have our own radio station, we'll have our own television station. Y'all think we designed that. You stupid motherfuckers. Y'all about as bright as a black crayon, about as sharp as a butter knife. You motherfuckers are stupid as shit.
Imagine if we tried to have White History Month.
Colfax, Louisiana Massacre 1873. Wilmington, North Carolina Massacre 1898. Atlanta Massacre 1906. Elaine, Arkansas Massacre 1919. Rosewood, Florida Massacre 1923. If there was a White History Month, Fox News would be calling it critical race theory. And some advice to Miss Tiffany, darling, be careful what you ask for.
To have White History Month.
The combination of arrogance, overconfidence, and ignorance. Truly a heady brew. And by the way, thanks for letting us all know you're not a racist. If you hadn't mentioned it, we would have had no idea. But back to your video, let me ask you a question. Did you grow up or ever live in an area where there were black neighborhoods and white neighborhoods, or a black section of town and a white section of town? And if you did you ever stop to ask yourself why that was? If you thought that level of segregation was an accident, you'd be wrong. It was done through a very specific design. And if you're wondering what that design was, I'll give you a hint. It starts with the letter R and ends in the letter acism. But let's go back to your video where you talk about HBCUs and how it would be unfathomable to have a whites-only college or university. Normally, I would start off by saying, I don't know if you know this, but I know you don't know this, so I'm going to jump right in. The first HBCU was Cheney University, and it was established in 1837. And the reason it came into being because universities at that time in America were whites only. And because, it was 1837, slavery was still a thing and the Civil War wouldn't start for another 24 years. And 127 years until LBJ would sign the Civil Rights Act. By the way, you don't have to be black to go to an HBCU. Anybody can go to an HBCU. Now let's move on to Black History Month. I once asked my dad the same thing. Dad, how come there's no White History Month? And my dad replied, every month is White History Month. Black History Month came about because schools simply weren't teaching anything about black history. And even when they did with Black History Month, the only thing we were learning about was Bernard Shaw, Martin Luther King Jr., and George Washington Carver. Or maybe the Tuskegee Airmen if one of our teachers happened to be super liberal. And even now, we're not learning accurate African American history. James Baldwin is not being read in our schools. Zora Neale Hurston is not being read in our schools. Nobody knows who Paul Robeson is. And we would have never heard about the Tulsa Massacre if it hadn't been for the HBO series Watchmen. We're not learning that now because people like you called it CRT and woke and then decided to mock it.
Special kudos to this man. I love the way he talks. He's always very soft-spoken and calm and collected, and he will give you a whole read. He will dissect everything that you said and respond to every single thing you said that you thought might go unnoticed. I like how he takes his time to, prepare his clapbacks and his stitches. So now, over to what I think. Like, you guys, I don't even know what to say because they've said it all. I have my notes here. I want to read out some of the major points that woman said that struck me. Okay? So she said, first of all, she said that this video is not meant. I have my pen, you guys, like I'm serious. The talking point that this woman said are number one, that black people have like the whole victim game thing on lockdown. We're always victims. And then she said that we are not oppressed. Black people are not oppressed. I'm like, where are you living? Are you living under a rock? Do you watch the news? At least you're on social media, you're on TikTok. So you can't tell me that you're not seeing a lot of things that are happening to black people. Okay. So then she talked about black-only universities. Please, what are black-only universities? She was referring to HBCUs. HBCUs are historically black universities. It's not just black people that go there. There are even palm-colored lecturers there. What are you saying? Can you at least get your facts right? When these people want to do these things, they are even too lazy to do proper research before they come and talk. And then she talked about how there's a lot of hypocrisy and self-pity in the black community. And by hypocrisy, she was talking about how, we have black-only universities, that is only segregation when white people do it, because black people are actually segregating for the fact that they have their own universities. She talked about Black History Month, that white people don't have White History Month, as if white history is not what is predominantly taught. Like, black people did not have these things to the point that they had to make their own space. They had to make a space for them to be safe because y'all wanted to segregate. So how can you be talking about black people creating things for themselves when you guys excluded them from everything, that was the only choice they had? How does it make sense? Now, I'm definitely not saying that every non-black person is ready to desist. No. There are decent people that are not black, and the same way there are black people that are also not decent people. That's not what we are saying here. But the fact that you can live in modern day America and deny the reality is just beyond me. It's beyond me. You guys, I just feel like black outrage is profitable to these people. They know that they just come and say something and they go viral. They get people responding to them. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this whole video. What do you think about what she said? Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.